Good evening. I'm Jonathan Higgins.
And I'm Rich Carlson. It looks like we're all plugged in.
All ready to go for this almost Saturday night, this Wednesday night edition of the Scanner Guys. Good evening, everybody.
It is Wednesday, yes.
I see a lot of, all over the place. Alaska joining us, New Jersey, Nebraska. Welcome aboard, Buffalo, New York. So many different check-ins tonight, so we're excited. We are reaching that time of the year where you have to buy holiday gifts.
Yes.
And some of those, you're telling your loved one, I would really like this. Or you're getting a friend or a relative into the hobby and you're trying to figure out what to get them. So we're going to talk about all that and so much more with tonight's topic.
Yep. And, everybody's going to be buying stuff online this year, too, because you can't go to the store.
Yeah, and most of the stuff that we sell, you can't just go to the store or downtown and buy it.
Hey, that's a great idea. Let's sell the stuff online.
Yeah.
Yeah, my light just failed. Oh, well.
We're here, and we're going to be going over those perfect holiday scanner packages. We're going to talk about some of them. We're actually going to show some on our website as well. So we're going to have a great night of being able to go over all this with you. And we're looking forward to this. So we've got really good shows coming up for December as well. Phil from the Scanner School, we believe he's going to make an appearance next month. So we'll have him back. We've got some really cool Scanner Guys shows coming up. Next week, it's Fun with the Scanner Guys. So we're going to be doing that. And we're going to be joining you, the day before Thanksgiving. So
That's
we will
right.
be here.
Wow, Thanksgiving is on a Thursday this year, huh?
Yeah, every Thursday. Every Thursday. Every year on Thursday.
Whoosh!
If Thanksgiving was on every Thursday, we would be very overweight, America.
Yeah.
That's typically when everybody tends to overeat a lot.
Oh, yeah. We bought a relatively small turkey this year, but even for just the two of us, we're going to be eating turkey for about 3 weeks, I think. So.
Yeah, and thankfully we're not broadcasting on Thanksgiving because you know what happens with turkey. It tends to put you to sleep. So.
Just like this show.
So let's dive into this, and we'll talk about tonight's presentation with creating the perfect police scanner gift package. As always, the Scanner Guys are brought to you by Scanner Master. So let's dive into the next slide here. So sign up for the Scanner Master newsletter. Yes, we do have a newsletter at Scanner Master. Go to scannermaster.com, sign up there. We are sending an email blast each and every week. I already have an email blast in queue, just waiting for Rich, the owner, to go over it. And as soon as that happens, then I'll send it off.
Yeah, the other Rich.
The other Rich, yes, the other Rich. So we're waiting on him for that. And let's take a look. So, hint of the week, Rich Carlson. So tell us about this hint of the week.
Alrighty. So keep your batteries charged. The scanners these days, you can leave the handheld scanners, battery-operated scanners, you can leave them plugged in all the time. So depending on which scanner you have, you can leave the SDS-100 in all the time. It's got a smart charging circuit, so it will see how good the battery is and charge it to the right spot. The other scanners have what we call dumb chargers or timer chargers. Dumb chargers. They're basically, when you plug it in, it turns it on, and it charges for a certain amount of time, usually about 13 or 14 hours. And some of them you do have a little bit of adjustment on that as well. But if you unplug the radio and if you plug it back in again, it's going to restart that timer. Usually that's not a big deal. If you do it once or twice, it's no big deal. But if you plug it in, wait an hour, plug it back out, plug it in, that's going to be bad. So leave the radio uncharged or running for a little while. But you can just leave the radio plugged in all the time. On most Uniden scanners, other than the STS-100, if you have the radio plugged into outboard power or shore power or whatever you want to call it, the radio will run off of the power adapter and not draw the batteries down. And when you have the radio on, when you turn the radio off, it'll start charging the batteries. On the SDS100 only, when you plug the radio in, there's a setting in the battery settings on the radio where you can set it so that the radio will charge and power the radio at the same time, or not, whatever one you want. So there is a setting in the battery setting, so you can turn it to like NY-Pixel said. Set it to charge the radio while the radio is on. There's a setting that says specifically that. The other radios, it's just when the radio is on, it runs off the power adapter. When the radio is off, it'll charge the batteries. If you've got a Whistler scanner like a WS1040 or a GRE or Radio Shack equivalent, you got the two different battery holders. The yellow one's for rechargeable batteries, and the black one is for non-rechargeable batteries. And what that does is when you have the yellow battery holder in there, if you plug in an outboard power, it will start charging the batteries. So be very careful. Do not plug Duracells into the yellow battery holder, or you're going to end up with a melted radio.
Yeah, for sure. You want to make sure that you're very cautious with your batteries. And as we always mention, when you're not using your radio, make sure you take the battery out. You know, I mean, it's very affordable to basically replace a battery, not your whole radio. It's very expensive.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, where you take the batteries out of your radio if you're not using it for a long time because the volume or the volume. I'm reading the messages here. The batteries can start leaking.
Yeah, so you don't want to do that. That's for sure. So we'll continue on. Let's see here. Creating the perfect scanner gift package. Quick buying tips for getting a scanner. So we're going to cover those in the next slide. This is going to be some tips. If you're new to the hobby, these are things that you want to consider. So first of all, we've got so many options, Rich.
Yeah.
Too many options sometimes.
Yeah, you got to ask your recipient, or you have to know what your recipient's going to want. The big question, the first question we always ask: are you looking for a handheld scanner, or you're looking for a desktop scanner, or you want to put one in the car? It makes a difference. The capabilities of the radios are very similar. It's the form factor, how you're going to wire it, what type of audio, what type of antenna, etc. It's going to change. The next question we need to know is: do you need digital or analog? And that isn't so much a matter of personal preference. It's a matter of what it is you want to listen to. So if what you want to listen to is digital, you got to get a digital scanner. And remember, all digital scanners also work on analog. And then the third thing we normally ask is, are you looking for a clean slate scanner, less expensive, or a zip code scanner, which is more expensive but more capabilities?
Yeah, it's for sure. I mean, those all things are playing into it. And that's the same questions that we ask a lot of our customers when calling in. And if they're buying a scanner for themselves, are you going to be taking this with you? Are you going to be sitting it in one location? And then the next thing is when we're running down with the phone is a lot of times they don't know if it's digital or analog. So when we'll say, where is the scanner going to be used? And then we look on radio reference. And then the next thing is we try to look at the customer's skill level or the gift recipient's skill level and see whether a zip code or a clean slate scanner would be best. So if you're not sure of any of this, give us a call. Because you know what? We can help you through this. We can answer your questions, kind of narrow down your search. Because we're going to basically... We've got our whole website with scanners. We're going to weed that down to a couple of models. So you're not looking at, geez, I got to look at all these scanners and figure out which one. We're going to narrow it down to the radios that pertain to your needs.
Yeah, and the other thing to remember, too, is that the upper tier radios will do everything the lower tier radios will do, plus more. And like Joe mentioned on that last comment, is the worst case is that you need a specific type of digital scanner and they get an analog scanner and it's going to cost you 3 or 4 times as much to listen to what they want to listen to. So check with us first if you don't know, and we'll help you out. Make sure you get the right scanner for your, for the targeted listening.
So the next box. So we moved over from options to digital versus analog.
Yeah. So, and then, so we pretty much got that taken care of, because you might, and the other thing is, what type of digital will you need?
Yes. I mean, that plays a huge role on a particular model radio. I mean, if they do need some of these other digital formats like NXDN or Pro Voice or DMR, that's going to kind of narrow down your search field, of what radio that you can pick from.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely going to be, that's definitely going to weed them down a lot.
Yeah, and the other thing too is with these digital formats, are they trunking on those digital formats, or are they conventional on those digital formats? Because even though both Whistler and Unitons can do NXDN and DMR when appropriately set up, they handle those things differently. They can both handle small DMR and NXDN trunking systems, but the Uniton scanners tend to work a little bit better on the trunking system end of it than the Whistlers do.
Yeah, and the other thing, this is the conversation that we get into, and guess what we do? We check radio reference.
Yep.
Which is the next thing. What are they using? Checking radio reference. And then the big factor, and we get this question so many times, we kind of addressed it a few minutes ago, is what if I want to listen to analog and I get this digital scanner? You can monitor both analog and digital on a digital scanner.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a caller a couple days ago call and said he needs to listen to this digital thing, but he doesn't. But he was thinking about getting a BCT-15 as well, so he can listen to aircraft. I said, well, yeah, you can listen to aircraft on your 536. There's no reason to buy that second scanner, because you can listen to analog stuff, AM stuff, or even FM analog stuff on a digital scanner. It doesn't work the other way around, though.
But yeah, I mean, if you do have the money to be able to get the 15 is a phenomenal radio for aviation.
Yeah.
So if you want to dedicate a radio particularly to aviation, the 15X is certainly the route to go.
Absolutely.
So we've covered options, and we've covered analog versus digital. Now we're going to move across what type.
Yeah.
Are you using this in the home? Are you using this in the car? Are you using this to walk around with it? These are all things that we're going to ask, over the phone, and these are things that you're going to want to ask somebody that you're buying a gift for. How do you think they're going to be using the radio?
What form factor do they want? And, are you going to use it in the house? You're going to use it in the car? You're going to walk around the mall with it? Ask.
And what was that, Rich? You kind of clipped out there.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you don't know, ask them.
Yeah, it's for sure. You definitely want to ask them. So a lot of times with someone that's a rail fan or aviation, we can kind of help you narrow down that search. So if they go out in the field and they're wanting to watch, things outside their vehicle, whether it be trains or planes, what do you think would be the best scanner to recommend to them? Portable, a handheld, or a base unit?
Usually, if they're going to be out at the rail side or at the airport or something like that, usually handheld, because if you get them a mobile scanner, they're going to be stuck in the car. And if they're just going to sit in the car and listen to the scanner, that's great. But if you want a scanner that is something that they can get out of the car and listen to it while they're taking pictures of the airplane or the railroad, then you want to get them a handheld.
That's for sure. So yeah, and then Jay just mentioned it as we always say, the 125 AT is the handheld to look at. I mean, that's definitely the handheld radio to definitely take a look at. It's the ultimate one, and we can't say enough about.
I love the 125 AT. It is an awesome scanner for rail fanning and for aviation.
That's for sure. I mean, it totally the 125 AT. I actually have it on my desk. So I have it on my desk right now, and I love this radio. I mean, it's one of my my favorites. I go to it all the time. Yeah, taking a look at, I mean, it's just one of my favorite radios. I mean, it's certainly, right here, the 125 AT. This is the radio that I use for, for listening to the railroads. And I have the VHF antenna, the carrying case. I just love it. And that's one of the accessories that you want to definitely take a look at is the 125 AT because it's ultimately, one of the best radios out there.
Yeah, I just wish we had them in stock right now. It's very difficult to get a lot of these things in stock these days with all the stuff going on. So, and there's such a huge demand on them. So, yeah, we apologize for them being out of stock. They're one of our most popular scanners, but we do get more of them on a regular basis. So hopefully we'll have more of them in real soon.
That's for sure. I mean, that's something that we hope to get them back in relatively soon. And as always, we mention when you go to scannermaster.com, any products that are out of stock, there is a spot there. Email me back in stock. As soon as it comes back into stock, we will email you, and then you can place an order. What I recommend, just because of the backlog with orders and COVID and what such, things are coming and going just as fast. So we're getting orders in, and they're coming in and then going out the door just as quick. So definitely place the order sooner than later. Let's take a look at what else is in the slide this evening. Zip code scanners. Now, 15 years ago, people would have said, what the heck is a zip code scanner?
Even when I had one, I was like, what the heck is this? And it took me a little while to figure out the genius behind it.
Yeah, zip code scanners. I mean, this is the unit in Home Patrol 1 was the pioneer of the zip code scanners. It's a pre-programmed radio that works almost anywhere in the United States and Canada, merely by putting in a zip code or using a GPS. And that's certainly a great thing that we promote here is a lot of the SDS 100 and 200 users. Guess what? You've got a zip code-based scanner. 436, 536, zip code-based scanner. Home Patrol 1, Home Patrol 2, zip code-based scanners.
Even the TRX 1 and 2 does that, too.
Yep, very much so. But the TRX 1 and 2, what separates the two companies apart is one, you're able to connect up with a GPS, and the other you can't. So with the Whistler Camp, you're not able to connect up any of the radios to a GPS, so it'll automatically turn things on and off as you travel. On the unit in camp, you can connect up a GPS receiver and be able to turn things on and off.
So if you are thinking about a GPS, consider a couple factors before you spend the money. If you're going to use that scanner while you're out on the road, traveling between point A and point B, or traveling on the road, you're a truck driver, you got an RV, you spend a lot of time on the road, GPS is awesome. If you're going to use the scanner at home or just bouncing around town, it's probably not worth the money.
Yeah, it's certainly not worth the money whatsoever if you're staying stationary as well. I've had a few people call me up. Didn't realize that the GPS is for traveling, so I've had a couple of customers ask me, okay, so do I need this GPS? I said, where are you putting it? In my house. I said, unless your house is an RV, you don't need the GPS.
Or you live in Texas with a mobile home.
Yeah, oh yeah, that you can hitch it up and go.
No, I'm thinking about the tornado will take the house and move it to the next county. Then the GPS might be helpful.
Yes, the GPS could be helpful in that sense. So,
Midwesterners will understand that.
Yes, the tornadoes will toss it into one place, and you could be in another place the following week, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The other flip of the coin, so we've got zip code-based scanners, and then we have clean slate scanners. Those of you that have been in this hobby for a billion years, a clean slate scanner is what we're used to. You program it in, and you can listen to it. If it's not programmed to the scanner, what happens? You can't hear it.
Out there.
It's not there. You can't hear it. Typically, with these clean slate scanners, you can program it by the keypad or use computer software. Clean slate scanners for review, boys and girls, is the BC 15, the BCT 15, the 996, the 325, the
396, 346,
the 125 AT.
Yeah, the 75, the 72, anything that doesn't have zip code. Yeah, anything that doesn't have a zip code on it is a clean slate scanner.
So, and then we also mentioned the alternatives, the digital alternatives.
Yep.
DMR, NextEdge, and ProVoice. So there is a handful of radios that are able to do all three, and they're on the Uniden side.
Yep. So
So you're looking at the 996, the 325. Now the 996 P2,
yeah.
the 325 P2, the 436, the 536 HP, and of course the SDS 100 and 200. But keep in mind that these are paid upgrades. So, the scanner will be able to do phase 2 digital and phase 1 digital out of the box. But it's not going to be able to do DMR, NextEdge, and ProVoice unless you purchase the ability to do so.
Right. Yeah, those are on each of the Uniden scanners, the Phase 2 Uniden scanners, other than Home Patrol 2, of course. If you do want NXDM, ProVoice, or DMR, you do have to pay extra for it. And that is that's a minus on the Uniden side, but the plus is, number one, that Unidens are the only ones that have ProVoice. So if you have ProVoice, you really don't have much choice. And number two, it does handle trunking on NXDN and DMR much better than the other scanners do. Yeah.
I think Dale saw my thing in the background.
Yeah.
The other thing, my cup, LL Bean is not a sponsor of the show, but I do have the LL Bean logo.
Are they still open 24/7 up there?
As far as I know, in Freeport, Maine is where they're based out of, and I believe they're open 24/7 still. I haven't been up there in several years now.
Yeah.
But it's a cool store. They've actually. When's the last time you went up to LL Bean? Has it been years?
Oh, God, it's got to be 10, 15 years probably when we spent a week or so in Maine.
So they have the main store up there, and then they have some secondary stores. Like they've moved a lot of their bike stuff into its own store along that main drag on Route 1 there. And also the best whoopie pies. Have you had a whoopie pie, Rich?
No, but there's a great ice cream shop right across the street in that little plaza.
Yep. And then there's Wicked Whoopies, whoopie pies. It's basically a cake.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh, I thought that was something that you don't want to do unless you're in the bathroom with the door locked. You know.
No, whoopie pies.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have to flush after you're done with the whoopie pie? Is that what that is?
Oh, never mind. Yeah, so it looks like Marco says not anymore, opens at 8 a.m. So they probably... Okay. I mean, it used to be 24/7, 365.
Yeah, I remember going through there. I was up on a camping trip by myself and dropped my girlfriend off in Boston, actually, at school. And I was going up to camp in northern Maine, and I was driving through there about 3 o'clock in the morning, and the place was open. I'm like, cool.
Yeah, go in there and check it out, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So digital alternatives, those are the DMR, NextEdge, and ProVoice. So if you're purchasing a new digital scanner and you don't want to be bothered with doing the upgrade yourself, you can have Scanner Master do it. If you decide to do it later on, very easy to do. Register your Uniden radio at myuniden. Was it myuniden.com, right?
My.uniden.com.
Okay. And then what you would do is you're going to enter in pieces of information that they ask for, and then you'll be able to purchase any one of those formats for the particular radios I listed earlier. and then you'll go into the settings, upgrade, click on DMR, Next Edge, or Pro Voice, whatever one you purchase. You're going to enter in this long key. You're going to have to scroll through and put that in, and then store it, and then the radio activates the DMR, the Next Edge, or Pro Voice, whatever you purchase. If you purchased all three, it'll activate each one of those. But the key thing is you want to make sure that the firmware is up to date on your radio. You want to make sure you have the latest and greatest firmware for any one of those radios that have the ability to do that.
And if you're going to do your own DMR, NXT, and Pro Voice update, when you register your radio, you're going to register the radio with the physical serial number, which is on the label on the back of the radio, or if it's a handheld, it might be underneath the batteries. And then when you buy the digital mode, you're going to use the electronic serial number, which will be in the menu settings, see information, firmware section on the menus. So you're going to need both of those serial numbers, the physical number and the electronic serial number. And when you get the electronic serial number, there'll also be a 3-digit sum code. So make sure you get that information. And if you get stuck, give us a call. We can help point you in the right direction. All right. So Chuck has got a question. Please tell me what present he can buy himself. He wants an antenna for his SDS-200 and his 325P2. He uses them both in the house, and he rarely takes them outside. So, are you looking for a base station antenna, or a back-of-the-set antenna, or a portable antenna, or one of each? And if you're looking for a base station antenna, do you want to share the same antenna for both radios? We can help you with that.
Yeah, so there's tons of options there. I mean, if you're using this as a part of your shack, you have the SDS-200 and the 325P2. Using the same antenna, we're going to recommend a multi-coupler, just being able to do that. Antennas, if you're monitoring particularly just 800 megahertz, there's a couple of options there. If you're looking to monitor a wide array of things, we could recommend probably a discount antenna. I mean, there's a lot of options.
And if you're stuck with antenna placement, most base station antennas you can put up in your attic if you have access to the attic. If you can't put them outside, like where I live, I'm not allowed to have outside antennas. So I've got my antennas up in the attic. Some people can't even do that if you're in a rental or if you're in a house that doesn't have an attic. A lot of times you can, if that's the case, maybe consider putting the antenna on a tripod on the patio if you want to use a full base station antenna, or you can use a mobile antenna mounted on a bookshelf or on an air conditioner or a refrigerator. If you're not sure what type of antenna you want, you can kind of look at alternatives, and we can help point you in the right direction that way as well.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things there that we can kind of look at. We'll dive right back into the slideshow now, and let's see here. So creating the perfect police scanner gift and accessories is the big topic of our next portion of the slideshow. So let's dive right into it here. So this is a brand new product that we started carrying. This is a Rich Barnett find. He basically he saw this product. It's great for holding a cell phone, but it also works holding what we love and care about very dearly, a handheld scanner.
That's right. If you've got a 125 or 325 or 75 in the same type of package, this works really well. It works a little better if you take the belt clip off. Mm-hmm. If you've got an SDS 100 or if you got a 436, this works awesome, just the way it is. And if you've got an SDS 100, it will work fine with that, but it works awesome if you've got the smaller battery too. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this is definitely something. I just produced a video for this, so if you go to the product page of the desk call on scannermaster.com, you'll be able to see a video that I put together showing a wide array of radios from something as small as the 125AT to the 436 to a GRE PSR 500. I don't have the Whistler equivalent, so I have the 500. So same body style and everything. Worked great. I mean, the thing about this, let me go to the wide shot so I can show. So right here, I mean, it's very simple. Basically, there's a button right here on the side. Click this, widens it out. And then what you do is, let me grab a radio.
Don't fall out of the chair.
So right here, we take the radio, place it in here, then close this in. Look at this.
Yeah.
It's right in there. The great thing about this is you can tilt it. You can also swivel it around. Oops, I didn't squeeze it all the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, and like Rich
and
said,
it ratchets, so it holds it steady on the on that particular thing. It doesn't get real loose.
and as Rich mentioned, I already have the stud off of mine, but you know this doesn't interfere at all. So if you've got the stud on there, you can leave it right on there.
Yeah.
I already have mine off. The other thing too, where it lays out, where it clamps in, it doesn't block the buttons, so they're still accessible, and the ports are still accessible. I mean, this is something really nice, you know, if you've got a portable radio and you want to put it down on your desk and have it facing you, you can tilt it. Works great. I mean, it's the base has got a little bit of weight to it, so it's not going to tip over on you. And this is something that's $19.95, which is good price.
Yeah, it's not very expensive, and it works really well. And like you say, if you got one radio, it holds it up at an angle where you can see it better. The audio gets pointed towards you instead of out.
Yeah, and here's the box. Product placement as
Dale mentioned.
Yep. So that's one of the newer products that we just started featuring at Scanner Master. And oops, I went too fast. Here it is. And we also have a mobile version. Let me just show you real quick. So to release it, just press this button, and it releases. And now I will show you the slide, which I didn't realize wasn't up. There it is right there. This is in my Toyota Tundra. So I have the bench in the front, but the middle seat folds down, and I have cup holders in there, as you can see there. They're quite large cup holders, so I was able to put the cup call in there. Let me just show you how this works. And you also see this in the video as well that I produced.
Yeah.
So what it'll do is the base will expand. So if you just rotate this, you can see that it's expanding.
Yeah. So it creates a compression on the inside of the cup holder. So those cup holders are not the same size.
No.
So this allows you to adjust it to the particular size of your cup holder and keeps it in there nice and tight so it's not flopping around. It doesn't pop out if you hit a bump.
I'm going to tighten it up now, but
Yeah.
you can see there that the gap is starting to get smaller and smaller because I'm tightening it up. But yeah, you can loosen it out, and it would go pretty loose out to be able to fit in that cup holder. Same mechanism here, where you have these expand. I'm going to use the good old 436 again. Drop that in there, tighten it in, and it's the same thing. But yeah, this would go in your cup holder. And this is something that Scanner Master just started carrying, and it is at a good price, $19.95 again.
Yeah, and so it works great. Even if your cup holders are a little bit larger, a little bit smaller, if you got 2 of them or 4 of them, and these cars these days have got cup holders all over the place. I use them in my van where they're side by side. So I use it on the left side because it doesn't interfere with my other radios. On the right side, and it works. It works great.
Yeah, and this still has the it'll pivot and it'll turn. So you have the ability to position it so it's facing you. And this is definitely a good thing to have in the vehicle, because if you're, let's say you've got a rental car, and you're going to be doing a road trip, bring this with you, bring your scanner with you, and you've got your scanner placed somewhere in the vehicle where it's not going to be sitting on a seat, falling down on the floor, and then then you're going to have to pull over and grab it off the floor.
Yeah, that's a nice. All you got to do is, if you have it on the seat, you hit the brakes, and everything on the seat goes flying forward. And
yeah, that's happened a time or two with me. That's
yeah, and I've broken an antenna mount that way myself. So,
yeah, this is definitely a good product there. That's the 125 AT that's on the photo there. Let's continue on with the slideshow. So, this is an honorable mention. When you're looking to build your own scanner package. And this is the Spectrum Force wideband antenna with mag mount with BNC or SMA. There's two different versions of this. Rich, you typically tell the story every time you buy a new car. What happens?
Yeah. Well, I've got 3 of these, and every time I buy a new car, which is like every other year for me most of the time, it takes me a couple of weeks to get my antennas mounted, so that way I can get my scanners going. I'll plop them up on the roof, hook them up to the radio, and they work great. And for only $20, $19.95, these are awesome antennas. They work really well. I know there's a lot of people who don't like mag mounts, but they have their place. And these antennas work very well. And the neat thing about it is that the coax on these things is very thin. It's like the size of a thick twine. So what I do is on the rear passenger door, I open up the door, I put the antenna on the roof, I toss the wire inside the door, I just close it right on it, and it works great. And I've had these now for 10 years, and they've been on 8 different cars, and they work great.
Yeah, and I'm currently using that right now as a base antenna here in North Carolina, and it works great. I was able to snake it out the window. You know how the window, to clean it, you can fold it forward. Mm-hmm. That cable's skinny enough so I can close the window, and then I could run it through the screened-in window and then place it outside of the window, whether it be on the windowsill. The one that's in the living room, I have it sitting on the windowsill, and then the other one that's in the hobby room / studio, which I'm in right now, is positioned outside the window a little ways, and I have it nice and high up. Yeah. So it works great.
Yep. If you've got a window or a wall mount air conditioner, with those little baffles, you put it on the outside part of the air conditioner and snake the wire inside one of the baffles and then connect to your scanner. Not only does it get it out, but now you've got a ground plane for it.
And I've talked to a lot of people that are customers of ours that are stuck in an apartment. They don't have an option to be able to put it outside the window. Yep. But let's say their scanner is somewhere in an interior room. Let's say it's over here and the window is over there. You could run that coax cable around to the window, sit that antenna on the windowsill, still have your scanner here, and be able to improve reception. Anytime that you're able to get your antenna to an opening, such as a window or to an exterior room, it's going to help with reception. It's one less barricade that the signal is going to go through.
Yeah, and like one of our posters wrote a little bit earlier, up and out is the best thing you can do with an antenna. And if you can get it up, you can get it out, it'll work much better than down and in. So if you can't get it out, then put it up higher. So when I bought this house, we moved here in March. Well, by then it was too hot to get up into the attic. So for the entire summer, I had my 3 little mag mounts on a couple of my wife's cookie sheets on top of a 6 or 7, 8 foot tall bookshelf here in my office. And that worked great for about a month and a half until my wife wanted to make some cookies, and she was not happy about having to look for her cookie sheets. But then I just went to Home Depot and bought a piece of metal and put it on top of the bookshelf and plopped these things on there, and they work great. And I almost didn't even bother putting antennas in the attic because they work so well.
This is a funny one. Yeah. So I just ended up doing it. We don't have any issues with. I was able to snake it out without it being an issue. If the window had to leak, then it would be a different story. But yeah, I mean, thankfully.
Well, your wife kind of likes you, so yeah.
Yeah. So that's the deal with that. But yeah, these antennas are great. I've used it on road trips if I'm renting a car. I mean, this is a great thing to be able to stick in a suitcase, bring it with you. You do your week or a weekend in the rental car. You got an antenna on the outside of your vehicle. I've used it in this setting where I don't have a permanent antenna on the outside of my home, so this is the next best thing. But yeah, these are great antennas, and this is a Spectrum Force product. So we carry at Scanner Master the Spectrum Force product line exclusively.
Yeah, they are, and they, like I say, they're good at like I say, $20. You can't beat them.
No, you can't beat it at all. I mean, $20 is. I mean, this is almost. How much is this, Rich? This is not $20, is it? No.
Oh, not this.
But we were at a good trend there. It was $19.95.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you were still talking about the antennas. I was checking the chat, and I thought you were still talking.
No, but this here, we were in a good trend here. Most of the products that we've mentioned up to this point were $19.95.
Yeah. No ups, no extras, right?
Yeah, this is another cool product. So if you're a multi-scanner owner like myself and Rich, as you can see, Rich has got one or two scanners back there.
Just a couple, yeah.
Yeah, so I have above me, which you can't see on camera. I have 4 radios that are above me, which are using this adapter, which will operate up to 4 scanners. It's a power supply for 4 scanners. Mm-hmm. It'll work on a whole ton of unit and radios, as you can see. SDS 200, 536, 996s, the 15s, the 780s, 785, 796, the BCT 8, the 340, 370,
and the remote head.
And also on the multicoupler.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you got a Stridsberger, it'll work right there. And so if they've got a radio stack, I've got one here on my radio stack. Powers all 4 radios, and it works great. And so if you got 3 or 4 radios, and you got like 3 radios and a multicoupler, this is awesome. So you only got one outlet in the wall, and it's not very expensive. It's only $24.95.
Yeah, I mean that is a bargain in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah,
to be able to have this. And the other thing, I was excited about this when they sent this to me. I was freeing up 3 plugs just by, originally I was taking up 4 plugs for those radios. I was able to reduce it down to 1 plug because I'm able to plug in 4 scanners.
Yeah,
and using this, and this was a blessing. I was like excited about this, and it certainly came in handy. It freed up a couple of plugs so I could add additional things that need power in my studio right now. Yeah,
absolutely. And with less power adapters to worry about, it makes things a lot cleaner. You're freeing up outlets, less residual heat because you're only having 1 power adapter versus 4. And there's less parasitic losses, so yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a good thing to keep in mind. I mean, the other product that we mentioned, which is an accessory that is a bit pricey but works really well. Here it is right here. And the Scanner Blaster, it will blast you.
Yes, and that name is ideal. And you and I came up with that name, and it really is. This thing is loud.
Yeah, I mean, this works great. So I've used this rail fanning, and sometimes it can be a noisy environment.
Yep.
And this works really well. I mean, for a couple of reasons. 1, for the noisy environment. 2, with this, you crank down the volume on your scanner to about probably about 2 or 3. So guess what's going to happen to your scanner? It's not kicking out as much powering the speaker, so it's going to make the battery last longer.
Yeah, absolutely. And plus, it brings the audio up here versus down there. Yeah, and this thing, I have to stress it again. It's loud.
Yes, very loud.
It's loud.
Yeah, it's loud. Yeah, it's loud. And everybody's probably going, "Oh my God, it is loud." Yeah, we're wearing headphones, so yeah, it is very loud. It works great. It is a bit pricey, but the thing is, it's well worth the money.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing we do remind people about this whenever we sell it to them is that when you're not using it, take out the battery. because there's no power switch on this thing. So it just stays powered all the time. So it's intended for it to be charged when you're not using it. And so if you're not going to charge it when you're not using it, take the battery out so it doesn't draw the battery down, because then when you want to use it, the battery will still be good.
Yeah, I mean the scanner by your hip, you can only hear so much. So having the speaker up there is certainly a huge help. Another product that we can recommend that a lot of folks have gotten into, especially in the Uniden side, is the GPS. And this is a new kit that that Uniden came out with. Has all the cabling and everything that you would need on one package for all these radios. So depending on what radio you have, it has the components that are needed, from the 15X to the SDS 200. So this is a kit that Uniden came out with earlier this year, and it's got everything that you need. GPS scanning is a topic that we're going to be covering, I believe, in the month of December. We're going to touch on it again because it's just so fascinating for people to be able to take advantage of this. Many of us now have SDS radios or home patrols type radios, so you can take advantage of GPS scanning because all the stuff is in there. You just need to enable it.
Right. Yeah, and the GPS receiver, let's clear up a couple misconceptions real quick. The GPS receiver, all it does is it tells the radio where it's at. That's it. That's all it does. It tells the radio where it's at, and then the radio will then reload itself when set up properly to that particular area. The GPS receiver does not replace your radio, your scanner's antenna, or provide any radio signal into the GPS, and it does not give you your location, and it doesn't provide any type of mapping. All it does is it tells the radio where it is.
Exactly. It's just reading latitude and longitude, and as you travel from one point A to point B, it's going to turn things on and off.
Yep.
I use GPS scanning. I have in my truck, I have the 536 HP, and I have everything favorites list in the truck, and then basically what I do is I enable GPS scanning on my favorites list, and then as I travel throughout the state, it'll turn things on and off. The reason why I run a favorites list versus full database is because I want to control what's coming through. I don't want willy-nilly everything and its uncle coming through. I want to be able to have some control of the departments I want to monitor, and then also customizing some of the GPS coordinates on various things as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're not quite as advanced as Jonathan on that, you can use it with the full database. And it's great if you're driving across the country or something like that. You don't have to stop every 5 minutes and change the zip code. It just changes the location of the radio and automatically will reload the radio from time to time with the frequencies used in that particular area. One neat thing is if you've got a 996 or a BCT15 scanner, you can still use the GPS with that. You're going to have to program it for GPS. But even if you don't do that and you have the GPS in there, it tells you what your elevation is, which is, when you live out west, elevation is very important, because you're going up and down the mountains. I don't know why I find that so fascinating, but when I'm driving through the mountains, I like to know that I'm at 8,000 feet, and it tells me, which I think is cool.
I remember when Scanner Master started carrying its own GPS, we kind of beat Uniden. And we had a Spectrum Force one, and I was able to take part in the overall design of that. And I made sure that the thing that I kind of, with the Uniden one, is I wish the cabling was a little bit longer for various things, because you're limited on cabling. When I had a lot of feedback into the one that we created for the Spectrum Force product line, I told Rich, look, we need to have a long enough cabling. Let's say they put the scanner in the trunk, and they're running a remote head. This is back in the days when we had a remote head option.
Right, yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to put the radio in the trunk, power the power the GPS somewhere in the back there, and then make sure that you put that antenna, the GPS receiver antenna, somewhere where it's visible to the sky. So if you left it in the trunk, you're going to have weak signal all the time for GPS signal. So you want to make sure that you got it either to the rear dash if it's a sedan, or outside of the vehicle, because most of these all have mag mounts on the little antenna. So and that's something that we worked on, Rich Barnett and myself, and I wish I snagged a couple of those, but I don't have them anymore.
Yeah, well, this one here uses a little matchbook size box. It's the smaller box in the picture, and it with the phone wire. So it doesn't have to be outside the vehicle. It just has to be someplace near a window. I have this in my vehicle, and I just have the thing hanging on the cable. There's a grab handle in the back seat of my minivan, and I just have it wrapped around that grab handle and just kind of dangling on the bottom of that grab handle, and it works fine there. So you don't need any fancy installation for it. Just basically plug it in and put the GPS receiver itself someplace where it can kind of get a view of the sky.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's certainly something that we need to need to keep in mind when you're doing this. And it's right. The GPS is right here. If you can see where my mouse is right here. That's the little dongle, I guess we could call it. For that.
Yeah, that's the actual receiver, and the larger box is the adapter that all of those cables will plug into. So if you've got an SDS 200, all you need is the little box and the gray cable. If you've got a 996 or a 536, you're going to need the little box, the gray cable, the big box, and the adapter to the radio and the power cord. So it's not that hard. In fact, we have a guide that you can download from our webpage that will give you all the details on how that works. It looks more complicated than it really is.
And the other thing, too, is we do have a show that we're going to be running. If you're a visual learner, we'll show you slide by slide. If you've got this radio, these are the components that you need. Also going to be more than likely working on an actual video that steps you through the process, showing you how to plug things in together. That's something that I'm going to mention to Rich Barnett. It'll be a good video for us to have on scannermaster.com. If you own the 15X, these are the cables you need, and this is how it is assembled.
Yep, absolutely. So, like I say, we have a PDF that you can download from our site for free. I've actually got it posted up at the Radio Reference as well, and it kind of tells you which cable you need for which radio. And like I say, it looks a lot more complicated than it really is.
Yeah. All right, and we'll go into our next slide here. You don't know what scanner you want, or you don't know what to buy, you could certainly do a Scanner Master gift certificate.
Yep.
Or the other option, as we mentioned earlier, is pick up the phone and give us a call at our 1-800 number, which is 1-800-722-6637. Not right now, but unless it's after 10 o'clock and you're watching this in the replay, give us a call. We're open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. 1-800-722-6637. Or you can drop us an email, support@scannermaster.com. That's support@scannermaster.com. We'll be happy to answer any questions you have regarding, any of the products that we carry, and we'll also be able to guide you through what's needed as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we answer those emails once a day. So if you don't get a response right away, just wait. Sometimes we may have answered the emails already that day, so it might be the next day. But we do answer and read and reply to every email. So we will get your questions answered.
All right. So now we're going to talk about packages that you can purchase. So if you're looking for something that's pre-done, what I would recommend is going to scannermaster.com, clicking on the Scanner tab, and then go to Scanner Packages. Click here, and you'll see all the scanner packages that we have available at this moment. We have one that's for the 325, the 436, the 996, the Home Patrol 2, and one for the WS1040. These are all of our ready-to-go packages. What the heck does that mean, ready-to-go package? That means that what we're going to do is we're going to provide you the key accessories for these radios, and we're also going to program it or set up and optimize it so it's ready to go right out of the box. So if you're giving a gift to a friend or a relative that's not technically savvy, you may want to take advantage of setup and optimization, especially if they don't live around you.
Yeah.
Because if you're shipping it, let's say you're in Illinois and you're shipping it to California, you're going to have them ship it back and forth to you in order for them to get it programmed. This way, we'll program it out the door so it'll be ready to go right out of the box for their particular county. Now, when we do programming, it's 3 levels of public safety. Police, fire, and EMS for all the cities and towns within the county. County level will be county sheriff, county fire, and then the state level will be state police or highway patrol for that region. We keep it basic and simple. We're not going to overload your radio with, a lot of people ask, well, you're going to program it, you're going to put it in the malls and the railroads and the aviation. No. Just straightforward. Police, fire, and EMS.
Yeah, and those are what people want to listen to. People want to listen to the police. They want to listen to the fire. They want to listen to EMS. If we do the KISS protocol, try to keep it simple and smart. So we're not going to program in all the other stuff. If you want to add that stuff later on, absolutely you can do so from the keyboard of the radio with just about everything except for the Home Patrol. You can do all that programming directly with the keyboard without a computer. And if you've got a Home Patrol, you can add those with the Sentinel software that's a free download. But we will get you going with the police, fire, and EMS for the county or counties that you choose.
That's for sure. We can take a look at one of these packages as well. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at the Home Patrol Ready to Go package. I'm going to blow this up so you can see right here. So the package comes with the scanner itself, the hometown programming, which is setup and optimization. It comes with the easier to read manual, and it comes with the AC adapter, the wall wart, to be able to plug it into the wall. So this is all stuff that you would basically get with this package that makes it ready to go right out of the box. Let me just show you. Let's show you the. We'll show you the 436 package. Very similar here. It comes with the scanner, the quick reference card, the AC adapter, and the setup and optimization. So these are very basic packages that you can put together, already put together. Kind of takes the thought process out of it. You do save a few dollars buying these pre-made packages, so that's certainly a savings there. Yep. The other thing too is, let's say you are in the market for a 436. You can create your own package by going to our website. You're going to see that the sticker price is $499.95 at the current time of this broadcast. You can do setup and optimization. You can pick the number of counties here, up to 3 counties. You can, of course, purchase an AC adapter. You can purchase a DC adapter. Oops, it's going to refresh on me every time I do that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna select it because I don't want it to keep refreshing. Right. So if you like the Butel software, you can purchase the download, the CD, Pro Basic, mobile antenna option. I mean, look at the options are endless here.
Yeah, and most of the accessories that you buy with the radio, when you buy it with the radio on the drop downs, you're going to save either 5 or 10%, which is. When you're spending a lot of money on a scanner, every little bit is going to help.
Yeah, and this is a great thing. So you're able to pick and choose these accessories. So you saw earlier our ready-to-go packages. So if you don't see anything that fits your appetite there, then what you can do is create your own package. And that's very easy to do right here on the scanners page. Same thing with, we were looking at a portable there. Let me go to the 15X page. And you'll see the same thing. There's the base price. It's $169.95, and then you can go down here, select hometown programming. look at this, up to 8 counties.
Yeah.
I would
if you're going to get more than 3 or 4 counties, you're probably going to want to get a zip code scanner anyway.
Yeah, and that's going to just make our programmers' hair stand on end.
The left one or the right one?
I'll just leave that to sit there. And, of course, all the other options such as software, radio reference subscriptions, antennas, GPS receivers, manuals, and quick reference guides. And as Rich mentioned earlier, you do save anywhere from 10 to 5 to 15% on various items. So this is certainly you can do through our website, create your own package, which we have available through here, or you can go back to the scanners and then scanner packages, and you can see all of our ready-to-go packages that are available. Just by clicking here, you can add it to cart, and it'll have all these things in there that are listed. So it's basically a ready-to-go package, programming-wise and so on.
One thing to remember is when you're buying an SDS 100 or an SDS 200, we have free shipping on those 2 radios. When you buy accessories with the SDS radios off the drop-downs, those accessories are also included in the free shipping. If you're buying other accessories that are not in those drop-downs, you will get charged for shipping if you order it on the webpage. So if that's going to be an issue, give us a call, and we can usually work it out for you where if it's a small accessory, we can include it in the box and not charge you shipping. If it's a bigger, larger accessory that there might be shipping, we might be able to help you out on that as well. But remember, the drop-downs for the SDSs, those are automatically included in the free shipping when you buy it with an SDS.
Yeah, and any of these other radios, if we do decide to do free shipping on it, if we turn on the free shipping icon that this item qualifies for free shipping, free ground shipping. We don't do anything more than ground shipping. So anything that's in the pull downs will be a part of it. If you have any issues, guess what? You call that 1-800 number, 1-800, right at the top of the screen, 1-800-722-6637. You get to talk to a live person that's here in this country. So you're not calling, a call center somewhere else. You'll either get Rich or myself on the phone. And especially if you're a rail fan, I really enjoy talking to you guys because you'll tell me what's going on in your neck of the woods, which is really neat. But these are great packages. You can either do one of these or you can create your own. So there's tons of options for holidays, and then our website. The layout's really nice. We've got it broken down to scanners, accessories, antennas, books, software, and so on. You can basically go across the board and find what you need. If you're not able to find it relatively quickly, give us a call.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're not sure which software is going to work best for your radio, again, give us a call because there are softwares. Some software works on multiple radios, and then within each radio category, there's usually 2 different sets of options. You can buy the download version, or you can buy it on CD, or you can also buy the Pro version and the basic. So we'll be able to explain to you the differences between those and let you make an informed decision. So if you're not sure about that, give us a call, and we'll help you out picking the right software.
Yeah, those are all definitely key things. If when in doubt, give us a call. That's probably the best thing that we can recommend to you. I'm going to put up our telephone number on the screen and our email address again so we can see that one more time. So here it is right here, 1-800-722-6637. Our email address at scannermastersupport@scannermaster.com. So feel free to drop us an email or give us a call in between the hours of Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So that wraps up our slideshow presentation. We're going to go through real quick with our just our promotional slides, and then we'll answer your questions. So we're always looking for your stupid scanner tricks and your shack photos. Make sure you send those over to us. You can email us with these types of things at thescannerguys@gmail.com. If it's support questions, make sure you send it to support at scannermaster.com. We're not always monitoring the Scanner Guys Gmail account, so make sure that you, any questions that you have, email support at scannermaster.com. And look at this. Next week, Wednesday, November the 25th, we are having another Fun with the Scanner Guys Thanksgiving Eve edition 2020. So we'll be live at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. So if you're spending some time here, home, and you're looking for something to watch on Wednesday night, the night before Thanksgiving, tune in. We'll be here live with you, answering questions, talking about scanners and whatever else that comes up on topic of discussion. So will be a good show for you there. Yes, 1-800-SCANNER is our telephone number. But a lot of people, they look at their phone. Ooh, what is the S and what is the, what is the other things? So yeah, there you go, right there. And Train Aficionado Live is going to be Monday, December the 7th, which is the first Monday of the month, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. And make sure you hit the subscribe button there. And don't forget their social media at Train Aficionado. And as always, follow, like, and subscribe to the Scanner Master social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Make sure you check out the Cup Call and the Desk Call videos that were just posted on the Scanner Master YouTube channel. And then, as always, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Scanner Guys on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So let's dive into the Romper Room edition of the Scanner Guys.
All righty, so good afternoon or evening or good morning to everybody. Got a lot of check-ins today, and the very first check-in this time was not Chris. I don't know why or how this happened, but it wasn't Chris. It was Lincoln. So, Lincoln, you're numero uno today. But Chris did check in a minute or two later. So, Lincoln, you beat him out this time. All righty. So, John's checking in from Jersey, and of course, Jay's in Papillon in the Heartland. So, Jay's got a question about he's looking to get into ham radio. And he's looking for a good radio for ham radio. So, I'm a ham myself. Jonathan will be a ham eventually. You have to look for which radio you're going to get. You have to look just like you would look for a scanner. You got to look at what you're interested in. Are you looking for HF so that you can talk around the world and listen to shortwave radio, or are you looking to talk to the guy, the ham radio guy across town or in the next county? So once you figure that out, then you can look at the radio. Now, some radios will allow you to do both. I've got an ICOM 746 in there, which allows me to talk on HF and on 2 meters and 6 meters and 10 meters as well. So I can talk to the guy down the street, the guy over in town, or the guy over in in the UK or something like that. So yeah, there's all kinds of questions there, and same thing with scanners. Antennas are important and everything else. So a bunch of guys saying hello, Evan, howdy. John's in Alaska. Bet you it's cold up there this time of year. There's Chris. Your radio should be there tomorrow, Chris. So watch out for that big brown truck. Dave's checking in from Buffalo. Hey, did you guys get any of those lake effect snowstorms yet? Have you ever been to Buffalo? In the wintertime?
Well, I haven't been there during the wintertime, but we did drive there, right?
Yeah, we did drive through there when we went to Dayton. I've been in Buffalo in the wintertime, and they get these storms coming in and off the lake where it'll be a beautiful sunny afternoon, and then an hour later you've got a foot of snow on the ground. So, it can get kind of crazy there. They'll have 4-foot snowstorms, and got a little snow today. Checking in from Louisiana. Yeah. Oh, my buddy Jerry. Hello. And, of course, Dale's out there. Everything today is plugged in, it appears. It appears my mic was a little hot today, so we had to cut that down. So I think that's sounding better, isn't it?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Yeah. So the problem I was having with my light before is I've got my man cave chair over here, and I was using the USB plug on the side of the man cave chairs. It's got one of those USB plugs so you can charge your phone on it. But apparently it won't work with the high-powered light for long enough because it kept on dying out. So I had to plug it into a USB wall outlet over there. So, yes, the pleasures of live radio.
Live
YouTubing.
They can still see us.
Yes, they can. And we are sorry about that too, guys. For being able to see us. Joe's checking in from New York. Bob's in Reynoldsville, PA. I'm not sure where that is, but I know where Pennsylvania is, but I don't know where Reynoldsville is.
I'd hope you know where Pennsylvania is because that's where we spent a little bit of time there.
Yeah. Oh, we had a great time there at Horseshoe Curve. Oh, man, I got to get some more of that pizza at Crescent. Oh, that was good. So good. Yeah, Jerry's in Cincinnati. Joe said he went to Best Buy to pick up a phone for a relative. They now require appointments to buy a phone. You can't just go in and buy one. So that's probably a regional thing. So there are places you can go where you can actually go in nowadays and stuff you can't. So that's a regional thing these days about whether or not to go in the store. If you are not sure, check with the store first. And we get people calling about Scanner Master, wanting to come in and look at the scanners and stuff. We do not have a showroom. We didn't have one before the COVID thing for the last couple of years. So we do not accept walk-ins, and everything is on our website. Let's see here. We got the audio fixed. Gene's checking in from Massachusetts. You know where that's at, don't you, Jonathan? Massachusetts?
Yeah.
You've been there a few times,
yeah?
Yeah. Tony is checking in from Maryland. We were talking earlier about the SDS 100, how you can charge it and power at the same time. There is a setting to do that, so it's in the battery options setting, so make sure you do that. Kev's checking in from Georgia.
Speaking of power, when we were beta testing the SDS 200, we learned that the STS 200 will power any of the other USB scanners at the same time through that USB connection on the front.
We were trying to figure out why they put that there and what it's going to be used for, and that was about the best thing. You posted that on our chat for that, and that's so far.
I couldn't post that publicly though.
No,
I texted you. I said, "Look at this, Rich. The Home Patrol 2 is being powered by the SDS 200."
Yeah, so that if you got an SDS 200, you can use the front port to power your SDS 100 or your Home Patrol. So Joe sold his scanner, and now he's going to be ordering a new one. He wants to get a Bearcat. Look at the 436 or SDS 100 if you can swing that. It'll work much. The SDS 100 will work very well on the digital simulcast systems up there, Joe. And there's Joe mentioned be safe with your batteries. That is very important. If you've got spare batteries, make sure you handle them properly. Put a 9-volt battery in the same pocket with your keychain, and your pants are going to start on fire. Oh yeah, been there, done that. It doesn't take much to get things, and I got a burn mark on my thigh because I stuck a 9-volt battery in there, and I forgot, and I set my keys in there, and all of a sudden I'm like, the hell, and I burned a hole in my pants because of the 9-volt battery in the key. So, it hurt too. So, treat batteries properly. I keep AA's, and with AA batteries, you can put 2 or 3 AA batteries in your pocket with nothing else in it. There's no way you're going to short anything out, so that's not a problem. If you're going to have a couple batteries in your pocket and you're going to put keys or change or something else, metal in the pocket with it, go to the shop and go to the store and get one of those little plastic containers, just big enough to fit your batteries in it, and then that way it keeps them safe in there. If you don't do that, put them in a little plastic baggie or something, just so that they don't short out against something else metal in your pocket or in your camera bag or in your go bag. You don't want to do that. And not only will it keep the batteries from self-discharging as much, but it'll keep them from shorting something out and causing other issues. 9-volt batteries, most scanners don't use those, so it's really not an issue so much for us, but they have both the connectors on the top, and they're very close to each other, very easy to short out. Lithium batteries have a lot of power on them, so if you've got an SDS-100 and you got a spare battery for your radio, don't put it in the pocket with something metal. You don't want to risk that, because that's got enough power to cause some damage.
Yeah, you don't want to light pants on fire or do anything like that. That's
absolutely. So Joe's checking in, and there's Dale. We talked about all that stuff. If in doubt, get him the SDS-100. So if you don't know what type of scanner they want, and if you like the guy, give him an SDS-100.
Well, that's a nice friend to get you an SDS-100.
Yeah. If you don't like him, then don't get him a scanner. But if you like the guy, give him SDS-100, and it'll work there. And so that's always a good thing. Gift cards are a good option. We talked about that. We do have gift certificates that you can get from us. If you have a digital scanner, Lori asked this question: if you do you program an analog channel differently on a digital scanner? No.
You can essentially, on a unit and radio, what you can do is you can program it so it'll receive just digital only, or you can program it so it receives analog only, or you can make it so it receives both. So if you're not sure, program it so it receives all, and it'll come through whether it's digital or analog. But there's no crazy method to, if it's a digital conventional frequency or a digital conventional frequency or an analog conventional frequency, it pretty much programs the same fashion, but you can designate whether you want it to be fully digital or analog or receive both.
Right. So and remember, a digital scanner will work for analog channels, but an analog scanner will not work for digital channels.
Yes. So just think of it this way: it's like a upside down pyramid. The very bottom is the smallest little section. It's going to receive analog. As it goes up, it's going to be able to pick up more. In this case, when you go to digital, it's going to be able to pick up digital and analog.
Absolutely. So Chris has got a great suggestion. Just if you're not sure what type of scanner to get him one of everything. It works for me. Yeah. And if you really like the guy, that's even better. So
one of each.
Yeah. Let's see here. The 125, Dave says the 125 is great for police and fire. It is if you're in an analog area that doesn't use trunking as well. So, if they're using trunking or they're using digital, then obviously the 125 won't work on that. Now that the 325 has got NXDN capabilities, do you think that's going to supplant your 125 as your go-to scanner? Especially for rail fanning?
I do have the 125, and I do have the 325. Right now, I continue using the 125 until we get some NXDN, and then I probably would go to that, or to get a little bit more sensitivity and audio quality, I'd probably go to my SDS 100. It all depends, right now I haven't heard any railroads using NXDN for a long distance, so that's going to kind of be a determining factor, how well it works. And then we know that the SDS has got superior digital reception, so since I have both, I would either go one or the other depending on it. Size factor wise, I probably would go 325, and then plus having the option of using AA batteries versus the battery that's inside the SDS. It just depends on when it eventually happens, what reception will be like, and
of course you and I are kind of the outliers. We've got at least one of everything. But then again, that's our job. So, but if you are wavering between a 125 and a 325, and you can only get one or the other, you're probably better off going with the 325 over the 125 if you have any need for digital.
Yeah. If you're like for me, that's my. Where did I put it? Let's see here. Oh, it's right here. I took it out. This is the radio I grab when I want to go rail fanning. So it's already programmed up. It's got the antenna on it. It's got the carrying case. It's got the swivel belt clip. I'm ready to go.
Yep.
If I'm going to be out there all day and I know I'm in a noisy environment, I'll then grab the scanner blaster and I'll plug that into there, and then I'll be good to go. It's just like Rich and I are both very, very well gifted with being in this industry and being able to have a lot more radios at our disposal. But yeah, the 125. If I was, like as Rich mentioned, like if I had to have one radio, I'd probably go 325 just to have the digital capability. But if you're looking for a radio that's strictly for railroads, or aviation, the 125.
Yeah. And when I hit the road to go rail fanning or plane watching, I grab that 125 and I just go. I'll listen to the police and stuff on the car on the way there, but when I'm at the airport or when I'm at railside, I don't care about the rest of that stuff, so I want the 125, and it's ideal for that. And it's great if you want to leave something in your camera bag all the time, because it's not that expensive, so you can afford to get one and leave it in the camera bag.
Or the other thing, too, is if you're chasing a train or you're trying to monitor two different railroads at the same time, the cool thing about having the radio in the car and the portable is you can lock down on one radio, one channel, and lock down the other for the other channel. So you won't miss a beat that way either.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why I've got a couple radios in my car. A lot of times I'll hold one radio on that railroad channel, keep the other one for scanning, so that I don't miss anything on the channel of the track that I'm following, but I can hear other stuff going on too. So, all right. So Dave is a little bit of an outlier. He's got three 996 XTs, a P2, a 15X, and he loves them all. And he still has his 898T, and it still works great. Those 898s were great analog scanners. They did trunking too, the old style Motorola trunking, but for analog channels they work great, and they're great big things with big knobs on them. Which
I wish I still had. I wish I still had one of those. I did like that. I do have a 780 still.
Yeah, I had 6 780s at one point, and I wish I still had them.
Yeah, I just have one right now. I should. I've been rearranging my setup in here. Maybe I'll put one on display on my desk.
Joe says, for Grandma, the HP2 is an excellent choice if you don't need NXDN or DMR. Great big display, real easy to set up and operate. Absolutely. So that's usually our go-to radio for people who don't know anything about radio, because it's really simple and it's very difficult to mess it up.
Yeah, the other discovery question I would ask, let's say you were calling me and asking, saying that you're going to buy this for Grandma, I would say, does she have a smartphone or a tablet? Is she used to using a touchscreen display? And if they tell me that, then I know, okay, she'll be comfortable with the Home Patrol 2 because it's got a touchscreen display.
Yeah. One set of people who I don't recommend the Home Patrol 2 for are the blind, because there are no physical buttons. And for some reason, I get a lot of blind people who call me and ask me for scanners. So I steer them away from that because there's no physical buttons. So I steer them towards one of the other scanners with actual physical buttons. They can learn the button layout and do what they need to do. So, so the Home Patrol is not the best scanner for everybody, but for a lot of people it is.
Yeah, and this hobby is very popular with the blind. I mean, this gives them another facet of entertainment, to be able to listen to what's going on in their neighborhood. And like you said, Rich, once they know the button layout and then they know the memory structure, you'd be amazed what they're able to do just by doing that keypad.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had a customer that I talked to for a couple times, once or twice a month for about a year, and I said, okay, just do this, this, and this. And after about 6 months, he called me up and was asking me a question, and he said, "So how many clicks is that?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" So, "Oh, I'm blind. I had to count the clicks on them." And I'm like, "Oh man, all these things I told you, and I never knew you were blind." The guy figured it out. So. Weirdly, though, we don't get a lot of deaf people in this hobby.
No, I mean, they don't really listen to the radio.
Yeah, my wife is deaf, and she's an ideal non-radio spouse because I can have the radios up as loud as I want to. It doesn't bother her at all.
Not necessarily. I know that you've cranked up the radio in the car, and she can feel the vibration, and she tells you to turn it down.
Yeah, there is that from time to time. So,
which I think is funny because she can feel that. And she knows that you're cranking the tunes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She doesn't want you to.
Well, she sees me driving like this. "Oh, stop it! You look like an idiot." So. Of course, I look like an idiot just sitting there. So
she doesn't want you to be deaf as well.
True. Okay, we were talking earlier about LL Bean's store in Freeport, whether it's open overnight. No, it's not now because of COVID, according to Mark. He says it opens at 8 a.m. So I don't know what time it closes at night, but it does close overnight. So. Let's see. We talked about that. We talked about outside antennas. So yeah, Chuck asked earlier about outside antennas. Outside antennas are always better than inside antennas. And attic antennas beat inside antennas. Outside antennas beat attic antennas. So up and out. Joe's going to be ordering his 325 soon. Cool. You'll love that radio. Nice and compact. It's the smallest digital scanner out there. Let's see here. Got that. Yes, I do have a very forgiving wife, as does, what's your name again? Jonathan, yeah.
Yeah, it's on the screen.
Yeah, I had to look at the screen to figure out what your name was, It's not like I talk to you every week or two,
Yeah.
So let's see here. Alicia has built some indoor antennas, and yeah, if you don't want to buy your own antenna, you can make your own. There's a lot of plans on the internet, videos on YouTube and stuff that'll show you how to make your own antennas. So you can make an antenna specific to your needs. Gene's got that multi-power adapter. He loves it. And one of our watchers, the Camp, or Diet Camp, asks if he can split the signal on a mag-mount antenna to 4 scanners, or does it need 4 separate antennas. So, yeah, you can use one antenna for multiple radios. On the back of my 4-stack here, I've got a Stridsberg multicoupler. I've actually got 8-port multicoupler on there. And then I've got 5 radios on it. I got the STS-100, 4 desktop scanners, and then I got my 2 home patrols over here with cables going to it. So there's 1 antenna cable going from my patch panel to my desk to the multicoupler, and then it splits out to 7 radios, and I've got 1 open port. So if you've only got 3 radios or 4 radios, get the 4-port multicoupler, and you can put 1 antenna on that and use it. And yeah, you can use a multicoupler with a mag-mount antenna. I've even used a multicoupler in the car. So it works great. And those Stridsbergs are awesome. They have an amplifier on it, so it overcomes the connector loss, because you're going to have a connector on the antenna's going to connect to the multicoupler, and then you're going to have jumpers and a splitter inside the multicoupler. Then you're going to have jumpers to the individual radios. You might have an extra adapter in there. There's an amplifier in there. It's just strong enough to overcome all that connector loss and maybe give you a little bit better signal coming out of the multicoupler than going into it. Joe says the scanner on the hip is great for the person next to you, not so much for you. Yep, absolutely. And one other hint with a handheld scanner, if you're going to have it on your belt, if you're not using the scanner blaster because you don't want the entire shopping mall to hear you, get a pair of earbuds. that you'd use for a cell phone or an iPod or something like that. And you can walk around the scanner or walk around the mall listening to the scanner all day long, and nobody is going to know that you're listening to the scanner. It's a great stealth thing. And the other thing, too, is when you're listening to a scanner on earbuds versus the speaker, the batteries are going to last a lot longer. And let's see here. There's our websites. The Scanner Guys. Is it the Scanner Guys at Weebly.com?
Yes.
You want to check that URL. It doesn't look right.
I don't think so.
Okay. Let's see here. We were talking earlier about the scanner blaster. Yes, it's very loud. Some more comments about the multi-couplers, which we've already answered. And is it Weebly or Weebly? Weeby. Yes, it's Wednesday. So the multi-couplers for the Stridsberg uses that BNC connector. If you're using TV stuff, then those usually have F connectors on them, and you can get adapters. So you can use TV-style splitters and multi-couplers with the scanner as long as you have the proper adapters. Or better yet, use cables with the proper ends at each side so you don't need to use an adapter. Every time you add an adapter to a coax line, you're going to have a little bit more loss. And so let's see here. And don't worry about the 75 ohm versus 50 ohm thing for TV style coax. For scanners, 75 ohm antennas and coax connectors work just fine with scanners. Sometimes even better than 50 ohm stuff. So don't work up a sweat over the 75 ohm 50 ohm thing. That's a big controversy. Every time it comes up on the radio reference forums, everybody's fighting that back and forth. 75 50 ohm doesn't make any difference one way or the other when it comes to scanners. Let's see here. Just lost my place. Alrighty, so the question is, are we going to have a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale on the SDS 200? I do not think so, Mike. The SDS 200 is still the top-of-the-line radio, so I doubt very seriously we're going to be able
Definitely
to...
a no.
Definitely a no. Okay, there you go. He's the guy that knows. You've got it. Even I don't have that. He's got the super secret list. So
there's definitely no. Unfortunately, we have map pricing with the STSs, so we have to stay at the price that it's at until Uniden tells us otherwise.
Yeah, so we're kind of stuck with that. So Steve asks what we do with our slideshows when we're done with them. He's having a hard time finding them. Go ahead, John.
So basically what I need to do, and I need to sit down and do it, is attach it to our website with each video. So we don't typically post them. I would have to. We're probably 40 some odd shows into this season, so it's going to take me a little bit to PDF all of them. Unfortunately, this is a 2-person operation for this, so there's no producer or interns that work with us. So that may be something I may want to get in the habit of when I work on the website, to download the PDFs and make the PDFs downloadable. If there's a particular slideshow, Steve, that you're looking for, certainly drop me an email. I think you sent me an email on the Scanner Guys, which I didn't get a chance to reply back. If there's a particular one that you're looking for, let me know and I can PDF it and email it over to you.
Absolutely. So Jay was talking earlier about ham radio, and he says he definitely wants to get into HF, and he asked which is the best HF radio. The most popular HF radio that's made these days is the ICOM 7300. We don't sell ICOM radios or HF radios for that matter, but the 7300 is, from what I heard, is a very popular HF rig. I've got a 746 Pro in my rack. It's a few years old, but it still works very well. So let's see here. Lake Flex Snow. Yeah, that's what Buffalo is in that area around that edge of the lake is very famous for. So if you're a ham operator, there's a TV show called Last Man Standing with Tim Allen, and Tim Allen himself in the real world is a ham operator, and in the show he's a ham operator, and you always see his ham station in the background. So regardless of which side of the political spectrum you're on with all that kind of stuff, he does talk about ham radio quite a bit on the show, and it's funny one way or the other. So, and yeah, this upcoming season will be the last season for Last Man Standing. And there's a couple discussion on other radios which are the best. Again, the best ham radio is the one that you've got. So, start off with the less expensive one. When you get very familiar with it and start enjoying it, then you can start looking at getting one that's more expensive and better. There is another Rich Carlson out there. This was not me who posted this question. It's another one. Do we anticipate a program on how to use ProScan for streaming? Probably not. Even though I use ProScan, it's not one of the products that we sell or support. So,
that could definitely be. Since Scanner Master is a sponsor of the show, it's something that we don't carry.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a bonus episode that that we could post. Like a pre-recorded type of thing.
Yeah.
If enough of you are looking for something with ProScan, we certainly could put something together. I'd be happy to do that. Just have to see if there's enough of demand for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Rich, I do like your name.
There's tons of Riches in this hobby, I notice.
Yeah, and there's at least 2 Rich Carlsons in the hobby. So, so let's see here. Art's checking in from Sacramento. I just talked to a lady from Sacramento yesterday. So they just got a new digital P25 system up there within the last few months. So we've been talking to a lot of people from the Sacramento area. And I was there about a year or so ago. Had a good time. It was real nice. Tom. Oh, okay. That email that user, I couldn't pronounce the username, is Tom from Eau Claire, Wisconsin. I've driven through there and been through Eau Claire many times. Let's see here. So for AA batteries, we were talking earlier about being very careful with your batteries. For AA's, they make nice plastic holders that take 4 cells. So I get these little plastic boxes at the Container Store, and they're just big enough to fit 4 AA batteries in them. So that's probably the same thing that Joe's talking about. If you've got a Container Store in your area, check it out. You'll love it. All kinds of neat gadgets and the little boxes and storage things and stuff. So I spent a lot of time and a lot of money at the Container Store. Dollar Tree has got containers as well. It's got locking tabs. So if you've got a Dollar Tree in your area, I don't know if we've got those. I know we've got a couple of those dollar stores here. I'm not sure we've got Dollar Tree, but that's another place to check. Chris has got an 8-channel realistic crystal scanner that runs on a 9-volt battery. So, yeah, I think some of the old Radio Shack scanners did use 9-volt batteries, but it's been a long time since any scanner that I recall ever used the 9-volt. So, and let's see here. Yeah, so Les says that he also burned his leg from a 9-volt battery in his pocket. So I'm not the only one out there that's done that. So, Steve asked if there's ever going to be a fix for the SDS 100, and he further on mentioned that they took out the lock function on the SDS keypad. So on the older unit and scanners, there's a keypad lock where you can hit the function and power button, and that'll turn on or off the keypad lock. Well, they didn't put that on the SDS 100, and I'm guessing the reason why they didn't do that is because it doesn't have keys that stick out. It's got a membrane keypad, so it's much more of a deliberate issue to press a keypad, so they probably figured it wasn't necessary. And they probably got a lot of support calls. We get these calls all the time. They can't unlock their keypad, and they don't know how it got locked. So that might have been one of the reasons why they took the keypad lock off the SDS. But people who use that miss it. So Ray is asking about what's the best scanner for winter stuff like snowplows and stuff, right? So Ray, you're gonna have to check what they're using in your area.
It's all over the place. So from what I've been able to see in the database, a lot of statewide operations is typically on the statewide trunk system, or they could be still using their old low band or whatever system that predates it. As for your local departments, that varies as well. I've seen a lot of DMR Next Edge being used if they wanted to go to this digital format. The town that I used to live in, Attleboro, Massachusetts, they were on a low band when the police department moved from VHF to UHF. The repeaters were still there, so they basically moved the equipment over to VHF equipment for the highway department, and then they started using that. So a lot of the highway department stuff is not listed on radio reference, so this is a good thing to kind of search out, especially for those local cities and towns, DPW and highway departments. So that could be a lot of fun. The best time to search that out is during a snowstorm.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
you're going to get the most activity on those particular channels.
Yeah. Now, Ray is in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. So the state IDOT snowplows are all on the Starcom system. So you're going to need a digital scanner. And I just happen to know that Ray's got an analog-only scanner. So some of the public works departments up there still use analog. But if they're listening to radio reference, you can program the channels in from there. So, and let's see here. But for some reason, this thing refreshes itself automatically, and then I lose my place. So there we go. Here we are. There we are. Alrighty. So some people like that keypad lock, and other people don't. So
the keypad lock is definitely handy for if you've got a person that's a scanner enthusiast and you're always going over there to fix their scanner because they've touched something on it. The keypad lock is very handy for those people that don't know what they're doing with the scanner, and you're the one that helps them with their scanner. Turn that keypad lock on, and it'll kind of eliminate some of those foolish errors that come up.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I say, with the SDS 100, with that membrane keypad, you're a lot less likely to accidentally hit a button on that than you are with, say, a 436 or a 325. So Carmen asks what we use for military aircraft and how well a 220 antenna would work. A 220 antenna might work pretty well, but Joe has a great suggestion on that. The telescoping antennas work really well because you can adjust it to where you're best. And when you're trying to listen to a frequency range and you're trying to adjust an antenna for best results, try to find something that transmits all the time or very often in that range. It doesn't have to be the exact frequency, but someplace close. So if you're listening to aviation, look for the ATIS channel at the local airport and adjust the antenna for best results because it's transmitting all the time. A military aircraft, if you're close to a Air Force base that has an ATIS channel on UHF, tune into that and adjust your antenna that works best on that. So, but usually a larger antenna has a larger capture area, and that will often work better. But like I say, a 220 antenna, which is a 1.25 meter HT antenna, would normally work pretty well for military aircraft because they're relatively close in frequency. Somebody mentioned that you can take screenshots of any slide that you want to save for future reference. And again, if you've got a specific slide that you're interested in, let us know, and we'll do what we can to get you that. So, Kevin likes his 7300 and his 9700. They're HF radios from ICOM. And we got a lot of Chris's tonight. Yeah, so we got Chris Schultz, we got Chris Wilson, we got Chris That and Chris this, and yeah, there's lots of Chris's, lots of Riches. Only one Jonathan. I'm sorry, we lost you, Jonathan. Or did we lose me?
No, I'm here.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
that's me.
That's you. So, yeah, only one Jonathan. Alrighty. So we were talking about 9-volt batteries before. Unity used to use a 9-volt battery in the old scanners in the 70s. Yeah, so I had the old Bearcat 200 XLT desktop scanner, or was it, I guess it was just a 200 XL, and then the 210 and the 250, the 220, all those old slant front scanners from Uniden, they used the 9-volt batteries to retain the memory. And if you ever pulled that battery out, then you lost all your memories. So you had to take the battery out while the radio was powered on, and then put the battery back in and hope that it was good. Otherwise, you lose all 20 channels of your programming. And Chris, one of the Chris's mentioned that the Pro 56 was a 9-volt battery scanner, a little wood grain desktop scanner. It was really cute, he said. So, and let's see here. And close call works wonders. So yeah, if they're out plowing and they're talking on the radio while you're close to them, turn on close call. Remember, close call is not a programming alternative. It's just a great tool to use to find somebody that's close. They have to be close. They have to actually be talking for close call to work. So, but if you see him talking, or you know one of the plow drivers and he's out there, turn close call on your radio. Okay, key to mic, and there you are, 47.66. There you go. So let's see here. Carmen says school buses and taxi cabs are great to monitor during snowstorms for real-time conditions. You betcha.
I totally agree with that, because you're going to know what the conditions are on the roads, especially for bus drivers. They love to talk during snowstorms.
Oh, yeah, they love to talk all the time. We have an NXDN system here that's got 3 different school bus companies, and well, nowadays kids aren't in school because of COVID, but before they were, but when the schools were still open,
jamming that system to capacity.
Oh God, they're just blah 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 blah.
I know. I had an internship during when I was in high school with the local bus company, and so I worked as a dispatcher, for that, and it was like. There was times where you couldn't get out a message to one of the buses because they were talking and talking and talking.
And the neat thing about the NXDN system is that with the way NXDN works is the label or the radio ID, the radio alpha tag is sent along with the signal. So it's telling me bus 74 and bus 38 and bus 19 right there on the radio, which is like cool.
I also know who's got that open mic.
Yeah, absolutely. And who's the guy that's putting the radio in the toilet and flushing the handle? We had that problem with my first police department. That was the big joke. Every time you went to the bathroom, you always flushed it on the radio. And then we put radio IDs, and that happened one time. And after that guy got back from suspension, it never happened again.
Oh.
So the key lock thing, it's sort of like being the family IT guy. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's me. My sister, my brother-in-law, my other sister, all my friends here in the neighborhood. Well, my computer doesn't work. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Well, turn it on first.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I kind of told some of these people that are the family IT guy. To eliminate some of the issues with your whoever's messing up the radios, to put the keypad lock on. It's going to reduce down the amount of the issues.
Yeah, absolutely. And if in doubt, restart.
Yeah.
First thing to do, restart the computer. That fixes about 80% of the problem. So,
Joe brings up a valid point with some of these systems with the IDs. Bus 74 might not be bus 74. I noticed that when I programmed in, you can kind of see. I'm not too sure if any of you have ever done this. You can program a conventional frequency, a digital conventional frequency into a single trunk frequency system. I've done this with North Attleboro Police because they're digital conventional, and they had the radios all every which way because they had it associated with the vehicle number, like car 26 wasn't car 26, so whoever maintains the radio system wasn't updating the radios as it moved from one vehicle to another. So if you've got a good person that's in house that's updating the radio periodically, then it works it works great. But if it's somebody just willy nilly throwing radios from one to another, it's going to be a mess.
Yeah, usually when the radios when it's new, they're accurate, and after that they get swapped around. So
I just saw. I can't tell you how many times I see Chris Wilson AOL accounts. That was like back in the day, AOL.
Yeah,
that's way back in the day. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Most email accounts I'm seeing now is Gmail for the most part. Gmail and I still see a lot of Yahoo email addresses. An old email address is Hotmail.
Yeah.
Hotmail.
Yeah, we get those all the time. One. Yeah, and then occasionally we get the Netscape. And I had a customer a couple weeks ago with Earthlink. Remember Earthlink? Mm-hmm. So apparently they're still around somehow or another, but I hadn't seen an Earthlink account in a long time. So, yeah, Chris said if somebody's got an email address with AOL in it, don't tell them you know anything about computers because they will never leave you alone. All right, so Evan says he got his VHF antenna for his 125 and it works like a charm. Yes, they do work really good on railroad stuff. So if you're a rail fan and you got 125, consider that VHF antenna that we have. They work really well for railroad operations. The BC250, when that first came out, it was a rare scanner for its day. It didn't have a memory battery. It had a memory system that did not require to have a backup battery, which was very unusual back in the day. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, Dale says, want to busy out a trunking system? Put the transit bus group on it. So, yeah, the bus drivers love the chat on the radio.
Yeah, especially in the morning. It's. I noticed when I was monitoring, the local school bus company. Typically in the morning, and then. Or when they're getting ready to depart the school, there's a lot of radio transmissions. Once they get en route, for the most part, it tends to quiet down. But yeah, I mean, they just get on the radio, and then a lot of times there's not a lot of etiquette. Some people understand how radios work, and some people don't. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Jay's got to run. Should he call tomorrow to order the cup holder, or should he wait for a week?
They're going to stay the price that they're going to be at. We don't, unfortunately, with this, I'll be absolutely honest with you guys. Since you are our loyal viewers and you're basically our loyal fans, because of all the COVID stuff going on and the gaps with production, it's very hard to run Black Friday, Cyber Monday stuff. So we're basically trying to promote the products that we have. So each and every week, we're introducing various packages, which I actually showed you all the packages tonight. But we're formally announcing them through email, and there is some savings with those ready-to-go packages. There's going to be one major thing that's going to be announced in an upcoming email. It's not a major thing, but it could tip you to deciding to purchase. But yeah, the SDSs, they're going to stay right where the price is. Unfortunately, with the map pricing restrictions, Uniden was running into issues where it was a price war in between us and the online big box store, which I'm going to leave nameless, was dropping well below, sometimes below our cost.
Yeah. And
when that happens, we can't compete. When they're below our cost, because we can't sell it at that. We need to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
So
And so when people buy from there, they call us to help support the radio because there's nobody there that knows
and
anything about the radio.
unfortunately, we're gonna screen that call, to be honest with you, and we're gonna say, where did you purchase it from? And if they say from XYZ, unfortunately, we're gonna refer you to the manual. If you buy it from us, we're gonna spend some time with you because you are a customer of ours. But if you buy even from our competitor and you call us, we're still going to probably refer you. You really need to contact us.
Yeah,
contact
we'll
them.
point you in the right direction, but we're not going to give you the step by steps because we got to support people who support us.
Exactly.
So, alrighty. So that answers it. Joe, remember back in the days when AOL would send floppy disks? I would get 3 or 4 or 5 of those things a week, and eventually I figured out that, like everybody else, that hey, I could erase that floppy disk and use it again. And then the AOL started taking out the little tab so that you couldn't just flick the switch on the floppy disk and reformat it. So then I realized, most people figured out you put a piece of tape over the little hole. And so AOL was like the primary supplier of floppy disks to the computer hobbyists back in the day. And then they switched over to CDs. And the problem with CDs is they were using pressed CDs. They weren't using CDRs, so you couldn't reuse them for anything other than a coaster.
Yeah, I remember a lot of the dial-up companies were sending out CDs to install the software. I can't remember.
Oh, there was Earthlink and AOL and CompuServe and all kinds of those things. And when they were floppy disks, because back then floppy disks were how you shared files. And, so you take that AOL floppy disk and either put a sticker on it or you'd peel the label off or you'd write on it with a Sharpie. And, so that's how you did things. So, let's see here. And that looks like it's it. It's where we're at. So, CDs make good targets. Actually they do. The problem with the CDs is then you got to clean up the mess after you shoot them. So unless you're in an area where you don't have to clean up your target mess, but they did make great targets, and they make great little frisbees. You give them a little flick and they fly. So, and if you want to have a lot of fun, is you break off a little corner on it, and then you flick it and watch it go like that.
Looks like you've spent a time or two messing with CDs.
I had fun when I was younger. So
they had CDs then?
They started to. Of course, I'm old enough to remember doing that with 45 RPM records. I found a whole box of 45 RPM records of places I'd never heard of, and they were all scratched up and stuff like that. Somebody probably threw them out or something like that. And they were great, frisbees. Now, of course, I lived right on the edge of suburbia, so we had this huge cornfield in back of us. So during the fall, after the farmer had harvested his corn, you'd have this big, huge open field as far as the eye could see. And we played in there all winter long, and we'd be flicking these 45s across the field. We had a great time. Genie, that was another one. Yeah,
I can't
Genie.
remember what I had. What was it? Was it Net Zero or?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Like I had, I had dial-up internet way back when I was a kid, and then I ended up getting whatever the telephone company was calling it at the time, DSL or whatever the hell it was.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just amazed. I know some people that are younger than me, and they're baffled by computers. And I was like, I'm just amazed. Most of these kids now are basically born with a computer in their hands, and they can't operate.
They know how to work an iPhone, but they don't know how to work a computer.
Some of them don't even know how to operate an iPhone, which is crazy.
Well, one last thing before we go is remember back in the old days, you get the month free from AOL or Netscape or whatever service it is you're good, and you get the 1 month free. So by then I had a cable modem and I had and that at home, but it wouldn't work on the road, and they didn't have free Wi-Fi everywhere like they do now. Mm-hmm. So when I was going to take a big long trip, I would the couple days before I go, I'd sign up for AOL, get their 1 month free trial, and use AOL at every motel from here to Omaha and back, and it worked great. And then I just let the free account expire at the end of the month. So
yeah, I mean, it's amazing now. You can go to hotels and
yeah,
restaurants and various
but that's
things.
what. Yeah, and nowadays we're spoiled because we have Wi-Fi and cellular and everything else like that. But back then, that's all we had. Show them an old mechanical typewriter and how to work that. The funny thing is if show them an old rotary dial telephone.
Yeah.
It would take you 5 minutes to dial 999-9829.
Yeah, I mean, it was just. A lot of things have changed in a short period of time, and there's a generation that has no clue about it. And the same thing is there's a generation of scanner enthusiasts that are out there that don't know, that haven't ever worked. Well, I'm one of them that hasn't had a crystal scanner.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a generation of people that won't know scanners without programming it through a computer. Unfortunately, I was a part of that generation that was a part of, before computers actually took a huge step into the direction of going into computers. I mean,
what's cutting edge now is going to be yesterday's tech tomorrow. So
yeah, it certainly will be. We are going to be live next Thursday. Let me remind you guys about
next Wednesday.
Wednesday. I don't know why I keep saying Thursday. Because of Thanksgiving. I'm not doing too much. The kid is actually staying up in Vermont, so I don't know what we're going to do. I don't even think we're going to be doing turkey and all that baloney.
Yeah.
We who knows? We may be cooking up a frozen pizza. Who the heck knows?
Been there, done that. So,
but yeah, I mean, it's just the two of us, and we don't want to go into the whole friggin' thing. And then, like you said, you buy a bird, and you've got turkey for weeks on end. And there's only so much turkey you can eat, and as it is, I know for myself, I'm pretty tired as it is. I don't need anything to get that going for me to sleep anymore.
Well, we had real quick. We had I don't know, probably close to 10 years ago now. We bought a big, huge turkey. I mean, this turkey was big for like 6 or 8 people. And then both Rexy and I got sick the week of Thanksgiving. So now we had this thawed turkey in our refrigerator. We couldn't cook it because we couldn't get out of bed.
You're not kicking it.
No, we ended up having to throw the thing away because we couldn't. We couldn't get it, and it was in the refrigerator for like a week, and before we got better. So we had a huge uncooked turkey that we had to throw away. So order bologna or Chinese takeout food. So
I was thinking about that. Is the Chinese restaurants open on Thanksgiving?
I don't know.
I just tell
we
you,
don't have any. We don't have any Chinese restaurants out here. So.
I can tell you. So moving down to the Carolinas, I'll wrap that up and then I'll let you guys go to bed. In the Northeast, there's several decent Chinese restaurants. Mm-hmm. Down here, we're having extreme difficulties finding a decent Chinese restaurant. So I ended up doing takeout lunch. I was craving Chinese food, and I said, let me try this place. So I tried this place that's a few towns over from me, and it was decent. It was decent Chinese food. Mm-hmm. I mean, most people from down here, what are you talking about? Have you, Rich, when you were in Illinois, what color is the rice typically at the Chinese restaurant?
I don't know. I don't eat Chinese food.
Oh, okay. Well, typically it's a brown rice.
Okay.
So some of the places down here have a yellow rice, which is, kind of strange. And it just wasn't the same. Most people down here, they don't know the difference because they never had Chinese food in the northern part of the country. I'm sure I haven't been to the Illinois area to see if it's the same as the Northeast. But yeah, it's just a strange thing, and I was finally able.
Well, I can't even get a pizza delivered out here, so
yeah.
I'm 10 20 miles from the nearest pizza shop, and so we can't even get pizza delivered out here. So we don't get any Chinese food. I don't like the stuff anyways, but so but that's out here. So that's what happens when you live out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't live out in the middle of nowhere, and there's 2 restaurants in town, and both of them are closed on Sunday.
Yeah.
So, and I don't understand one restaurant. They made a killing. Because, we're in the Bible Belt down here, so a lot of people will go to church, and then after that, they'll go out to dinner. And this place that originally, the restaurant that was here in town, was slamming after church, because everybody would go from church, go out to dinner, or lunch, or whatever you want to call it in between lunch and dinner. So,
brunch,
yeah, whatever it is. But anyway...
see, what it is dinner is at night. Supper is in the afternoon. Or is it the other way around?
I don't know. Anyways. It's 3 meals a day, typically.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll see you guys on Wednesday.
See you on Wednesday. So let me just review the slide one more time. So next broadcast, Wednesday, November the 25th. Fun with the Scanner Guys, Thanksgiving Eve edition. As always, the Scanner Guys are brought to you by Scanner Master, Train Aficionado Live, with myself and Rich Carlson. Next broadcast will be December the 7th, which is the first Monday of the month, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which you're on right now. Then hop over to the Train Aficionado YouTube channel, subscribe there. And then, of course, like, follow, and subscribe to my social media for the Train Aficionado stuff. And don't forget, follow, like, and subscribe to Scanner Master, our sponsor on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And always follow and like and subscribe to the Scanner Guys as well. So, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm Jonathan Higgins.
And I'm Rich Carlson.
Until next week, we'll catch you again on Wednesday night.
We'll be here.
Have a good night.